Hello to all our lovely students at home from the staff at Farringdon Community College, and hello to your parents as well. This is Miss Sutton, Assistant Head Teacher, and I just wanted to pop this little broadcast together to give you a bit of reassurance really, and to say that we're all thinking of you. We know it's a really difficult time. It must be very unpleasant to be isolated from the people that you can normally see whenever you want, your friends and your family, and particularly if you've got elderly relatives who are isolating for their own protection. So we hope you're bearing up. And as a mum, I'm going to say, I know it's a really difficult time for parents too. I do understand it's unpleasant for young people, but it's tricky for your parents too. So if you can, without getting irritated with mum, dad or your carers, do as your parents and carers say. And if they're trying to impose some kind of structure to your day and make you follow a bit of a timetable, then perhaps just suck it up a little bit and just show how cooperative and mature you can be. So well done to the parents out there who are really trying to follow a timetable and keep your youngsters occupied and entertained. We've had a few concerns about Show My Homework, so really I want to focus on that for a couple of minutes. And I suppose I've got about 5 main things to say about it. The first one is don't worry. There's enough anxiety going on. People are unsettled enough at the moment as it is, without you worrying on top of everything else about homework. Now, when I say don't worry, it doesn't mean don't do it. What I mean is, if you're making a noble effort, your teachers can tell, okay? Even if you can't do every piece of work, or you can't do it exactly in the way that your teacher wants it, we can tell if you're engaging with some learning. And it's really important that you do some learning over the next few weeks. If it's not exactly what's on Show My Homework and exactly done by the deadline, please don't get stressed about it. If you are worried about it, you can contact your teacher through Show My Homework, and many teachers have given their school email addresses as well. So just get in touch with them. And if they're very busy, because we are still busy, if they're very busy, they might not get in touch with you straight away, but at least you've let them know that there's a problem. Okay, but please, nobody is in school scrutinising how often you're going on Show My Homework, which bits of homework you've done, have you done more geography than maths, and why is that? It's not fair. Nobody is doing that. Nobody's going to come back to school when school eventually opens and get punished because they didn't do every scrap of homework. So please be reassured that this is not something that was supposed to add a burden to you. Actually, it was supposed to make life a little bit easier. If I give you a little bit of background to how the homework was set up, it might help you to understand that we're not waiting with big sticks to beat you over the head when you come back if you haven't done every bit of homework. Things moved very rapidly when it was understood that the virus was going to get very bad and that schools were very likely to close. And what you had is a lot of teachers, particularly heads of department, having to make lots of decisions very, very quickly. And one of those decisions, and this was done in one day, one of those decisions was, what can we set up for pupils to do at home? So a lot of it was extremely well thought out, because the heads of department and their teams are highly skilled people. But there wasn't enough time to couch it in all the nice expressions that kind of do your best, we can see if you're trying kind of language. So this is one reason why I've prepared this broadcast. So it was done very quickly, very, very effectively. And some people are taking the amount and the deadlines very seriously, which is okay, but some of you have taken it to the point of getting very, very anxious about it. So what I'm saying is, even if it seems a bit prescriptive and demanding, if you can't meet the deadlines, then try not to panic. Just tell your teacher, I haven't quite managed to do it in time, but I'm aiming to get it done within the next couple of days. Now, honestly, they'll really appreciate that. And as I said earlier, they can see if you're engaging with learning and making an effort, and it will be appreciated. And of course, we are giving still plenty of achievement points. Edulink still works, it's still up and running. Your parents can still see how many achievement points you get. It's very, very easy to give achievement points. So there is still some kind of reward system in place. Okay. The other thing is, if you can't quite do it in the way that your teacher has asked you to do it, then you could always find an alternative way of doing something. So if you've got a piece of homework that suggests that you might want to print off a worksheet, you don't have to. You could, by hand, I know lots of it's done on the computer these days, but you could by hand write out some answers, as long as they're clearly numbered and your teacher knows what it is that you're trying to respond to. So put a title on it, put a date on it, I would as well, even if it's not quite in time for the deadline. And write things out by hand, maybe. Okay, and if you're struggling to get computer time as well, you might have to find an inventive way around doing a piece of work. You might have to photograph something and send a photograph via Show My Homework or on your teacher's school email address to say, look, I couldn't quite do it in the way you wanted, but I've had to go at doing it in a different way. So, for example, if my son was at home and he had to do some work on character in Lord of the Flies, and he was supposed to print off a piece of text and underline all of the things that he could find out about Jack, he might say, well, I've got a book, I haven't got a printer, I can't use the computer, but he might do a picture of Jack and draw some quotes around it. And this is what I mean by showing that you're engaging with the work, even if you can't quite do it in the way that your teachers have said. Okay, and the reason your teachers haven't written all of these different alternatives to the way that they've said you should do it is because homework had to be set so quickly. Okay, right. The other thing as well is, there are other things to be doing too. This is a great opportunity to perhaps learn how to cook, learn how to sew, and maybe a different kind of sewing, doing some gardening. So we're all learning about what it's like to turn up to shops and not be able to buy new clothes, not being able to find the food we want on shelves. So it's a really great time to take stock and learn those what we call soft skills about doing a bit of sewing, perhaps some cooking, and planting your own seeds as well. And I think planting seeds and watching them grow over the next few weeks is going to be something really positive that you can do at a time when things do seem a little bit grim. Okay? And the other thing, of course, is that if you have got relatives and friends that you can't see, then spend some time FaceTiming or Skyping. If you know that there are old people who are isolating and on their own, you might want to draw them a picture, maybe. Or some young people around the country have been making rainbows to put in their windows just to cheer people up. I drove past one the other day, and it just for a moment there, it sort of made me feel a little bit happier. So that might be an idea as well. If you've got any questions, before you get into a panic, please email your teacher. Try and go through Show My Homework if you can, so that everything is in one place. But if you can't, email your teacher. If you can't find your teacher's email address, email the school, and at some point somebody will get back to you. But please don't worry. Look after your parents and carers. Really give a thought to those elderly, isolated relatives and neighbours if you have any, and take lots of care of yourselves. And I'm sure that at some point we'll all be saying, well, that was tricky, but it's over now, and we will emerge from this as better people. So as I say, we're all thinking of you here, and we're looking forward to seeing you again at some point soon. Okay, stay well. Bye-bye.